Okay, good morning. This is the last clip of four from the professional author interview that I did on March 23rd, and we'll just start resuming it now. I'll have a little bit of a senior moment in trying to remember where
Things
it
like
is.
public health.
It's at 30. $34.10.
Publishing is concerned. That's a whole other story. The use of the internet, still another story, Harmon Circle, so to speak. I can't make you do anything. I can lead you to the truth, but I self-publish. The biggest theme, I think, was the issue of closed spaces and that you don't always get to choose what kind of space you have to live in. And so an issue like this, whether it's in a college dorm or whether it's in the military, particularly when you could be conscripted, when there's a threat of war or when there's a threat of a calamity and, an EMP attack or something like that. An issue like this has a lot to do with your own integrity as a person, how well you did as an individual. It doesn't have as much to do with what group you or oppressed group you think you belong to. It has more to do with how you did as an individual. And I think that's really important, that karma really matters. So that would be my message. I hear people say this on the libertarian and more conservative channels, not on the woke channel, but on even the conservative channels like Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin is gay, right? That he says things like this all the time. So yeah, that's kind of the message. It's really up to you to be able to adapt to what and to know where you are, so to speak.
Last question is just from Facebook graphic. Where can I buy your book?
Okay, right now it's on Amazon.com and Barnes and Noble. The Kindle is much cheaper, as is the Nook on Barnes and Noble. The printed copies are more expensive maybe than they should be. So a lot of people just buy the Kindle. So that's the main place. I have revamped my internet presence. Again, that's why I did as a long discussion. That's outside the scope of this discussion. But I do have a new commercial site, and I might take credit cards or something if there's some reason to later on. But that's a topic that's not settled yet. But there is a site called doaskdotell.info. I recently got rid of the old content on doaskdotell.com, and now it directs you to this commercial site. And then there's a site in my legal name, johnwbushka.com, which has archives of all the other stuff I have. So that's something to know. I can't get all that in a short video, but that's something to know that, the way I place myself online has changed recently, partly because of partly because of a lot of political pressure, concerns about Section 230. You know what that is, don't you? Section 230 in the internet, and concern, leak taxes, other things that might happen. It's one of the reasons why I've simplified my internet presence, but that's a different video. But you need to know about it,
I didn't even know that whole practice in the end.
Yeah.
So, being conscious of time, we spoke for about 55 minutes on camera.
Yeah.
Awesome plenty material.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen now is we're going to start into Christian's going to do something called B-roll. It's going to shoot slow motion shots, going to do computer typing, some shots of your book, maybe show you.
Okay.
Stuff, because we have so much media from you to help some.
Yeah.
So that all sounds great. So Christian, if you're good to go, I'm good.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to bring the camera back, kind of a senior moment, maintaining these sessions. Yeah, maintaining these sessions there. Well, that would pretty much do it. Let me just show you a few of the remaining pictures that I don't think I showed you the last time. Let me go back to the start of the discussion, the gays in the military. I think I showed you First Baptist Church last time, and I'll just run through the sunfish cap from the submarine visit. There is a simulation of military bunks. That's actually at the Coast Guard Academy in New London, but that shows what it's like to be in a sea vessel in the Navy or the Coast Guard, the close quarters that we talked about. That's Fort McNair, where Bill Clinton gave his speech announcing "Don't ask, don't tell, don't pursue" in July of 1993. That's from the Washington Navy Yard. That's where the witch hunts were launched. That's Minneapolis, where I lived in from 1993 to 2007 after launching the book. It's from the Churchill Apartments as a view of downtown. There's a view of the river, and there's the Churchill Apartments right there where I lived for 6 years. It's quite a beautiful city. That's me giving a lecture in St. Paul at Hamline University in early 1998 on crutches from having broken my hip in a convenience store. I recovered from that pretty well. I'm giving a speech at a Unitarian Fellowship in February of 2002. And then in 1997, an exhibit from Service Members Legal Defense Network on the Mall in Washington. This was 2007, still before the repeal. And some pictures from the repeal, the legislation in December of 2010. It was a Friday, I think it was December 10th, 2010. I went into town, and my mother went into a final phase while I was here and got a call. Had to go back home, and she went into the hospice, which is here in Arlington, Virginia. It used to be the elementary school I went to as a boy, and the last thing she knew before she passed away is that "Don't ask, don't tell" had been repealed. That's the last thing she knew her son had something to do with accomplishing, and that's another sign for it. That pretty much wraps up this set of videos, and I do thank you for your attention.